These are the major or major seventh chord types on the 1, 3, 4, 6 string family, and we're going to be doing them on the tonic of B. We'll start out with the most extended of them, the ones that go in this direction: B, C sharp, F sharp, and D sharp. Additionally, we can stretch a bit and we can extend the D sharp to E sharp for a sharp 11. So that's B, C sharp, F sharp, and E sharp back. Now we move the middle voice, and what we'll do is we'll gently move our way back down. The F sharp on the G string moves to E sharp. B, C sharp, E sharp, D sharp. Moving our way down, we move the C sharp to A sharp. B, A sharp, E sharp, D sharp. Move the top voice to C sharp. So B, A sharp, E sharp, C sharp for a raised 11th type sound. Moving our way down, E sharp to D sharp. B, A sharp, D sharp, C sharp. Moving down further, A sharp goes to G sharp. B, G sharp, D sharp, C sharp. Top voice moves to A sharp. B, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. Middle voice on the G string moves to C sharp. B, G sharp, C sharp, A sharp. Making our way downwards gradually, we can now reposition B, A sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Also, an F sharp triad over B, B, F sharp, A sharp, F sharp, C sharp, A sharp. Top voice moves to G sharp for perfect fifths. B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Back to the G sharp inside. Stretch, little bit stretchy. B, G sharp, C sharp, and F sharp. Back to the F sharp chord on top of B. We can now move the middle voice, F sharp on the D string to E sharp. So we have B, E sharp, C sharp, A sharp. And it allows for plenty of mobility, really. Here's a standard major 7, B, F sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. So between these chords, there's a lot of it. It's physically nice and comfortable to move B, A sharp, D sharp, and G sharp. Now, voices can exchange too from this. For instance, B and A sharp can exchange. So A sharp, B, D sharp, and C sharp, and then exchange D sharp and C sharp. Really interesting harmonies. Very movable, for instance, just even from even thirds. Here's an E flat chord going to a B chord. Very, very simple. So they're easy to grab too. Moving ahead, we're going to move to the C sharp chord. So we have a B over C sharp, B, F sharp, and D sharp can move up to an A sharp, creating sort of an 11th chord sound on the C sharp. Now if we voice exchange D sharp and C sharp, we have a B triad with a C sharp on top, D sharp, B, F sharp, and C sharp. Move the top voice to E sharp. And we can hear how it has the same sound. Also, D sharp minor related to B. So this is D sharp, A sharp, F sharp, and E sharp. Or we can move the top voice to C sharp. That's a D sharp, A sharp, F sharp, and C sharp. Okay, with that as our basis, we can move the bass to E sharp. So we can have B on top, E sharp, B, F sharp, and D sharp, and maybe move that to a C sharp as well. Following on from that, we have D sharp, the D sharp minor sound. We have sounds like this: D sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and F sharp. Exchanging voices, G sharps and F sharps. D sharp, C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. So those are all acceptable sounds. These suspended sounds are useful. This can even transform. We can make a C sharp with a D sharp up top, which will fulfill that criteria. So E sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Maybe the top voice moving to F sharp. Okay. Additionally, if we want to, we can almost make that an F sharp sound. So again, using that fifths relationship, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp, maybe move the top to E sharp as well. All has a B sound. Moving ahead on the E sharp, here's a B triad on top of an E sharp. So E sharp, D sharp, B, and F sharp, and move top to G sharp, A sharp. Voice exchange, we have a B triad on the bottom with a raised 11 on top, F sharp, D sharp, B, and E sharp. Top middle voice, B can move to A sharp as well, and can move to C sharp, like here when we did this chord. When we did the B, G sharp, D sharp, C sharp, move it up to F sharp. So all of those work. So it has that sort of a sound, which is the B sound. Moving ahead, a G sharp minor 7, G sharp, D sharp, B, and F sharp. And we can move the top voice like we did here. Again, fifths, G sharp, D sharp, B, and A sharp. Again, those voice exchanges are very useful, very pliable. Okay, moving ahead to the G sharp. We said D sharp minor works, but so does G sharp. So we can use those sounds. I'll move them down. G sharp, F sharp, C sharp, and B. Exchange of C sharp and B. And you have this. G sharp, F sharp, B, and C sharp. So those are very usable. Also a G sharp minor 7, which is, or minor 9 I should say, G sharp, A sharp, D sharp, and B is a nice usable sound there, along with the suspended sound. Also this can move ahead to A sharp. So that's quite a common move. So this G sharp, C, F sharp, C sharp, and B, voice exchange, A sharp, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Moving ahead to some of the A sharp voicings. We've already done this one. We already did A sharp and B and D sharp and C sharp, and we said we could exchange those as well. Also on A sharp is, we saw it from here, this E sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and F sharp can be played here. Sort of a voice exchange from that chord. B, F sharp, C sharp, A sharp, exchange the outer two voices on the E strings. A sharp where B was, etc. Now, C sharp moves to B, B moves to C sharp, voice exchange. A little reachy, but a nice chord. Resolves to B, A sharp, C sharp, and G sharp very nicely. So that's a very usable chord, especially for a cadence. So those will be the general starting points for the 1, 3, 4, 6 string family in the major sound on the tonic of B.